The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I'm sitting here at 317 Gimmon Street with my illustrious wife, Kristen. Kristen, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve.
God damn, it was fun going to the grocery store with you a while ago and picking up some groceries. What's on the menu for tonight?
I'm going to make that broccoli soup again, which I put broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, celery, onions, and I just mash it up with the Braun mixer and put a little Greek yogurt on top, and it's delicious.
And I'm going to make a big-ass piece of salmon on my Traeger pellet grill. I got to get that something to fire up. I tried to cook some fish last night, tried to put it on 400 degrees, and somebody went to 200. So I got out my shop vac.
Well, and we were trying to watch Broken Skull Challenge.
God dang, man, the women come out to the Broken Skull Challenge. Unbelievable, awesome start to the women's season this year. Keep watching this show. Make sure you set your DVR because this season is off the charts. And Goose went out there, and she couldn't beat the Skullbuster time set by Cassidy, but holy smokes, keep watching because the guys and the girls
She
this
finished.
year.
That was incredible.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of man, that's a tough-ass course. She had a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah.
So tough course for her to finish, but she had a lot of guts, and so I give her credit for finishing and doing as well as she did, man. She was such a powerhouse through the brackets. But I'll tell you what, keep watching this damn season. Set your DVR because there's some epic shit that's about to happen. I can't tell you here on the podcast. You got to tune in. It's CMT Tuesdays, 10-9 Central, every single Tuesday on CMT. So anyway, shout out to Goose. I'm proud of you. And Cassidy remains my returning champion. So watch your DVRs if you ain't seen it yet. Hopefully I didn't spoil it for you. But god dang, I'm going to cook a big-ass piece of salmon tonight. I got my Traeger grill cleaned out. I didn't clean it.
Well, you never clean it. This is the problem.
No, I did. I cleaned it when I brought it back from the challenge when we were filming. But this is the first official time I cleaned it. And when I took out all the stuff from the burner, I think that's where I screwed up because I didn't fill it back in with my hand. So I got my grill up and running. I'm ready to go. And I'm getting ready to, god dang, we're getting ready to go on a trip, as a matter of fact.
Yes, we are.
But we're going to head over to Nevada. Before I talk about Nevada, god damn it, we just went on a vacation.
A mini vacation.
A mini vacation is what we'll call it. We hauled ass down to Mammoth Lakes, California. My wife been trying to talk me into going to Mammoth Lakes for about 12 years. Shit, we known each other about 13 years.
I guess.
Whatever. But for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't counting no more. But you've been talking about it. And you're going to think, it's just beautiful. You'll love it.
I've been trying to convince you to see California because California has a lot of beautiful spots and you just don't believe me. And so I just said, you know what? I'm booking a cabin. We're leaving tomorrow. Let's go. And so we just did that. And, you were blown away. Well,
and the thing first of all, about California, you know, I'm a little bit of a transplant, and my roots are in Texas. And
I know.
And Texas is always number one in my heart. Geographically, we're located out here. We still own property in Texas. I just don't like to consider myself a California resident, and that's it.
Oh, I know, but you just have to appreciate the beautiful.
I know, but I remember coming because we've driven up to Napa several times in the wine country, going through Pebble Beach. What are those towns?
Let's see, Pebble Beach, Monterey, Big Sur, Hearst Castle.
Yeah, Hearst Castle is badass. All that shit. So I know how pretty it is in that direction, but we didn't want to go to wine country. And we've been trying to go to Nevada, and just for everything's booked up. We
just had a couple days. I said, let's just go to, I'm taking you to Mammoth. You're going.
And so we went. And check it out. I told you guys, I said, I'm going to get me a new pickup truck because my other one's about to, just piss poor. The damn motor doesn't pull enough. And so, anyway, I said, fuck it, man. I went and drove that Toyota Tacoma that I told you guys about a few weeks ago. Badass pickup truck. But that ain't got enough room for my dog, so I took it off the list. I was about to go drive another pickup truck, and I thought to myself, you know what? Your pickup truck is fine. They just changed that on the plugs, the wires, and all that stuff. You don't really drive your pickup truck too much in L.A. As long as you have a truck, you're good. Every guy should have a pickup truck if you got room for one. So I do. I got room for one. It's on my
Funny, we don't have room for one, but we have many of one.
Well, anyway.
You take up the entire street parking with your vehicles.
Back to the story. Okay. We needed a dog hauler. So I said, fuck a truck. I'll just get a goddamn Suburban. So I went over to check out the Suburbans, but I started doing my research and come to find out that the Chevy Suburban, which my mom has driven Chevy Suburbans her entire life. She hauled Scott, Kevin, me, Jeff, and Jenny to all our baseball games, all our cheerleading stuff in a Suburban. And she was running a 454, and that motherfucker would haul ass.
I'm trying to picture going to cheerleading practice.
I wasn't a cheerleader, goddammit. It was Jennifer. But I give you credit on that one. But smart ass. So anyway, I was looking for a Suburban. I just want a base model vehicle. Nothing fancy, just something to throw the dogs in. 4-wheel drive. Suburban only comes with a 5.3-liter motor. Same motor that's in my pickup truck. But this is the upgraded version, 355 horsepower. It's a damn good motor. But I knew that the GMC Yukon came with a 6.2-liter, 420 horsepower motor. That's the motor I wanted. So Chris and I went to go drive the GMC Yukons. And we got in a couple of them. We're thinking, okay, this is pretty cool. Like it. It feels
plenty of room.
Plenty of room. That's what we wanted. And then I started noticing the way it was driving. I said, the motor feels pretty good, but is this, in fact, the 6.2-liter? And the sales lady who was working with us, she goes, well, let me check it out. She got out and looked on the sticker. She goes, no, this is the 5.3. I said, whoa, hang on. Stop everything. I got to have that 6.2 motor, 420 horsepower. I'm going to be pulling trailers. So anyway, turns out the only way you can get the GMC Yukon XL with the 420 horsepower motor is if you go Denali. That's just like the Cadillac Escalade. So you got to get the fancy goddamn vehicle with the automatic running boards that fold out when you open the door and then fold back in when you shut the door. So you get all the bells and whistles. And I'm just looking for a base model dog hauler that we can shit can and trash and get dirty and have 4-wheel drive in so we can haul our dogs in. That's all I want. But Kristen, I had to have the 420 horsepower motor. Right. So guess what? We got a Yukon XL Denali, and we loaded that motherfucker up, and we hauled ass down to Mammoth Falls. What's it called, Mammoth Lakes?
Mammoth Lakes.
We go to Mammoth Lakes. I told my wife.
We didn't haul ass.
I know. That's what I was just fixing to say. I'm glad you corrected me, because tell everybody what happened. Tell everybody the promise that I made to you and that I held up to.
You said you're only going to go maybe 5 miles over the speed limit at the most. I said, great. Then I can relax, because when you go 95, it's not a relaxing drive for me or the dogs.
And it ain't really relaxing for me either, but I can make any kind of a recreational thing into a destinational thing, because I want to get there in a hurry. The fastest way to get from one point to another is a straight line.
Yeah, and you go fast, and we never stop, and
I'm listening. I got my damn, I'm halfway deaf. I got the radar detector turned up on 20 through an amplifier. I'm bumping that motherfucker, subwoofer up. And Kristen's phone even goes off. I'm like, yeah, I like jam on the brakes.
You jam on the brakes, and then I get into a panic. I'm like, why are you braking?
I know, and
I can't even look out of the window or read a magazine on the way anywhere.
I can't either, or I go off the road and just kill us all. So I'm like a horse in a Kentucky Derby. I got the blinders on. I can only look forward. It was so relaxing to take the goddamn blinders off, drive 65 to 75, whatever the speed limit was. I drove just 3 miles an hour over it. It opened up a goddamn world for me.
Right, for me too.
I can look out the side windows. I'm like, oh, look, you can see out the side of a vehicle.
Yeah, and the dogs actually slept in the back on their bed together. It's very cute. They weren't trying to hang on.
Goddamn, we had a good time. And anyway, we went down to Mammoth Lakes. It was absolutely phenomenal. And we get there, and we take the dogs on a walk. I'm giving you the long story short on this vacation. We took a bunch of food with us because we rented these cabins at the Tamarack Lodge.
Yep.
And at the Tamarack Lodge, they got the cabins, 1, 2, and 3-bedroom cabins. Then they have RV spots that are dry dock spaces or dry camp spaces.
You can just tent camp.
No electricity is my point. And no water. You supply everything you got. There's people out there, they're bringing their firewood. They got their tents. They got their food. It's really cool because they got these big metal boxes that you can lock all your food and stuff in because there's bears.
Lots of bears, yeah. God
damn, man. If I was out there camping, which we're going to do next time we go, I'm going to have a big-ass combination lock on my metal box. Because I'll be damned if any bear is going to get there and get all my goddamn food. I'll be madder than a hornet. And me and that bear are going to have to lock up and wrestle. I will whip a bear's ass if you go steal my salmon from me. But we had a real good time, and we got to see a bunch of cool shit. And we ate at the restaurant there at the Tamarack Lodge on the first night.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommended. Awesome food, great service. If you want water, they will bring you water like a motherfucker. If you take one sip out of your water glass, it will be full before you put it back on the table. I kind of say this as a rib on a square, but for some reason, that dude loves filling water glasses, and I'm glad for it.
And he's good at it.
Hey, more power to you, brother. We appreciate it. Got my salmon. Kristen got a damn vegetarian dish called succotash. I don't know what a succotash is, but I had a bite of it. That shit is good. Suffering succotash my ass. It's good.
It was very good.
So the food was good, and we camped out.
I wouldn't say good. It was excellent.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
We highly recommend the Tamarack Lodge. And so the food was excellent. Our stay was awesome. And we took some great hikes with the dogs. We walked around this one lake called Horseshoe Lake. We walked all the way around that summit. It's about a 5 or 6, 7 mile hike. And the dogs did great. Hell, I did my cardio just hiking. Yeah. That was cool. And then right there in Mammoth Lakes, the town, got a badass gym called Body Shop Gym. Each morning I would get up, go down into town, get my swell in. It was only 4 miles away. Come back, and then we'd tire the dogs out and go do something. And I would just to kind of speed through the vacation. On our third night, we decided, well, Kristen wanted to go into town and get something to eat, and I didn't want to go into town.
Well, because I was cooking. I mean, I cooked our breakfast every day, our lunch, and then dinner the second night. So I thought, the last night would be another nice, great night to go to dinner. You know.
I know, and then we went through town to go get some groceries for something, and we're like, man, everything looks kind of, I don't want to be, it was a little touristy.
Yeah.
I didn't know how organic or not, and not to use that in a literal sense, how good the food would be at a touristy type place when that shit at the Tamarack Lodge was so goddamn good.
Plus, we didn't want to drive anywhere.
Well, no, but you're a grade A cook to begin with, so then we figured, what the fuck, man, we'll just go back to Tamarack Lodge.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that first night when we ate at the Tamarack Lodge, that place was built in 1924. So when you go into the damn restaurant area, it's pretty small.
Yes.
It's tight. I mean, I had on a long sleeve shirt, dry fit, because that's all I wear, and I almost took that motherfucker off. Cause I mean, as soon as I walked in.
Well, because it was a little bit warm in there, because it was cold outside, so they made the restaurant a little bit warm, and you and I are both just warm people anyway.
Yeah, goddamn, I don't know why they had the heater turned up so high, because it wasn't even cold yet, and they get a lot of snow over there, and I'm like coming unglued. I'm going to wipe and sweat off, and man, what's going on here? And so we went through that dinner. So on this third night that we were going to eat for the second time at the Tamarack Lodge, we walked in, and I'm looking at the setup, because I noticed when you walk in, there's a check-in spot, and then there's a little bar set up. That's the bar. And it's a lobby. It's a lounge.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lodge. And it's made out of logs, built in 1924. And, you know, they got tables.
Fireplace.
They got tables and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I told Kristen, I said, let's get there a little bit early before our reservation and just have a drink.
Right.
And I was able to have a drink on this keto diet. I just eliminated all the carbs. I know I'm putting carbs back in on my diet, so I just eliminated carbs so I could have a couple of drinks with my wife.
Plus, we hiked like 8 hours every day.
Oh yeah, I got my cardio in. I'm still 242. So we sat down at this little table, and what was I drinking? Woodford Reserve.
Woodford
Reserve. Yeah. Because I was just looking to drink, Blanton's or Buffalo Trace or just something that I normally drink. And that was good whiskey. I highly recommend it. So we're sitting there at a damn table, and then here comes some other people in. I hear the guy. He goes over. He goes, "Do you want a menu as well?" And he was talking about a drink menu because they have these certain drinks that they sell. And but I started.
We thought we had the whole lounge to ourselves.
Yeah, but I started putting two and two together. So I'm thinking, hang on, menu, ding, 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 ding. If we can eat out here, it'd be way better than going to that cramped restaurant that we'd eaten in 2 nights before.
Well, it's not cramped. It's just small.
It's small. I mean, the place was built in 1924. Yeah. I highly recommend it. Stellar. 5 stars out of 5 stars. It's a great experience. But it's just a little tight for a cat like me who's used to getting MRIs. Claustrophobic like a motherfucker. You are too.
Yeah.
So I told the dude, I said, hey, man, I said, can you eat out here or just drink out here? He says, no, you can eat out here if you want to. You want a menu? I looked at Chris and said, high five. Yeah, you damn right I want to eat out here. We got a goddamn big-ass fireplace. They just had candles in it. Got a fireplace. There's about 11 other tables out there. It's about 3 times the size of the restaurant. It's not gigantic in size, but there's just more room to breathe.
Yeah.
And it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I got this music from the 1920s going on. I was hoping they'd play some 1980s or something, Boston. But anyway, we're over kind of up against the window and a bar stool type chairs, round table. My wife and I are sitting kind of close together. It's romantic. It's cozy. We're laughing. We're telling stories. We're having a good time. She's got a glass of vino. I got a Woodford Reserve on the rocks. And all of a sudden, here comes the people walking down the stairs. They got rooms upstairs in the lodge. What do they call them, Kristen?
The historic rooms.
How do they get the name historical rooms?
I guess they were there when they built the lodge.
And there's a catch to them. You got about probably 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms up there, and they share a bathroom.
It's a shared bathroom, but rooms are very basic. It's just, your bed and a bed.
Right. So these people come from down these stairs. I'm thinking, where do they come from? Okay, they're coming from the historical rooms upstairs. And we're staying in a cabin 300 yards away. So, man, they start coming down, and they start looking for a place to sit. And you know how it is, like same thing when you're riding on an airplane. If you're in the last seat and you're in a 3-row area by yourself, you're just like, okay, please don't sit by me. I want to be sitting away from everybody. Don't want no one sitting next to me. So I know
even when you park your car, when you go to a big parking lot, you want to find the furthest space to go so no one messes up your new car. And then ultimately you come out from the grocery store and there's 2 cars parked right next to you.
So we're sitting there, and Chris is thinking the same goddamn thing I am. It's like, whatever.
There's 9 other seats in this. They can't possibly sit
Not
next
seats,
to
tables.
Tables,
There's 9 or 10 other tables, better tables than the ones we got. And they come over, and they're doing that head on a swivel routine. Where should we sit? Where should we sit? And I'm thinking, goddamn, anywhere but in the seat next to us. Be goddamn. Guess where they decided to sit?
Right next to us.
Right fucking next to us. And I'm looking at my wife and I'm thinking, God damn it, are you fucking ribbing me? We're not trying to get romantic or nothing. As they always show, what's it, People magazine and stuff, PDA, public display of affection. Me and my wife are sitting there kissing all over each other. A mole close to the source says they couldn't keep their hands off of each other. I always wonder, who the fuck is the mole close to the source? That's the biggest bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life. A mole close to the source. A mole close to the source says Steve was drinking whiskey and his wife was drinking wine. Every now and then, they would hold hands. And Steve looked like he was trying to keep from farting. So anyway, this couple, nice couple, they sit next to us and they start talking. And everybody knows I got a hearing loss. I don't hear real well. But when someone sits at the table next door to me, and I'm almost, if I lean back far enough, I'd be bumping a guy on my elbow. And they're speaking in a language I don't understand. So I'm thinking to myself, God damn, these motherfuckers coming from out of the country. I looked at my wife, because my wife has been all over Europe and is a lot smarter than I am with 2 degrees. And I whispered to her, and, me whispering, that's kind of like that Larry the Cable Guy.
You don't whisper.
Yeah, I don't whisper, but I very quietly said, what language is that? And you said?
French.
So there's some it was a French speaking. They're straight out of France.
Right.
Straight out of France. Didn't speak a lick of English.
No.
They had a hard time ordering any kind of food, beer, etc. Yeah. And it was great. Welcome to our country. I hope you guys enjoy Tamarack Lodge as much as we do if you listen to the podcast. Probably don't, because they don't speak English.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
But nonetheless, they're just out to have a good time, have a good dinner like we were. But here's the thing. The dude was wearing, he did probably 40, 43. I'm guessing I could work in a circus and guess people's weight and height and all that shit. I'm just guessing the dude was about 43. It would be an average health. And that sumbitch had on a ton of some cologne. I don't know what cologne he had on, but it smelled like shit to me. I hope his wife liked it, but it was ruining my night.
Well, it was just strong.
Well, yeah. Would you say it was a good smell?
I want to smell food when I'm at a restaurant.
But here's the thing. If people listen to podcasts, they know from all of our years being together, when we first met, I used to wear a little bit of cologne.
A little bit?
Not shit piles of it.
Smelled pretty strong to me.
Well, I stopped wearing cologne. I ain't worn cologne in 10 plus years. And so you don't either.
No.
Perfume. So just when someone was going to wear perfume or cologne, y'all know my stance on this. I've got people listening to podcasts since day one. Just a spray here or there. That's okay. That's acceptable. That's cool. Just don't cake that shit on. It's a cunt hair less. That's what I always tell you. Just one squirt. That's all it takes. Because here's the thing. You've heard me talk about this on a podcast before. I ain't talked about it in a whole long time. When you shake a motherfucker's hand and he's got on so much cologne that your hand comes away smelling like the cologne that he's wearing, that chaps my ass. That means I've got to go directly to the alcohol scrub in my wife's purse. If she's not with me, I got to go directly to the bathroom to use soap and water to try to get it off because I don't want to walk around smelling like that.
Yeah.
But inevitably, there's just too much. About the time those people came down and sat down, the guy comes over and tries to take their order and explain to them what everything is. Finally comes over back to us. I just got finished drinking my Woodford Reserve and would like another one. And he goes, another round? I said, yeah. He goes, anything else? And I said, yeah. A fan with an extension cord that can blow the fucking air back towards that table because I don't want to smell that shit. I looked around at the place, at the lodge. I think, well, we're in the best seat in the house other than the fact we got these two next to us. I was almost going to ask to be moved to another table because the whole fucking place was open.
Well, and it's a smaller place, too.
I know. If we went to the smaller place, we'd have still smelled the cologne and had a shittier seat. Hey, man, here's my little takeaway from this. If you wear cologne or perfume, honestly, don't use so much. Just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. Motherfucker, nice couple. We had a great dinner. Anyway, let me get on my damn rant about colognes and perfumes. One more time, wear less. Hey, man, so we got up the next morning, and Kristen said, hey, man, we got to go see this place called Devil's Post Pile. And she says, you ready? I'm thinking to myself, stick in the mud, try and explore the beauty of the California lifestyle and the state. It is a pretty state, I will admit. And I said, okay, man, the fucking Post Pile, how many miles is it? She says, well, it's about 13 miles away, but it's going to take us about 40 minutes to get there. And I'm thinking to myself, how can it take 40 minutes to drive 13 miles? Well, if you ever decide to go see Devil's Post Pile, you will know there are some twisty uphill or downhill roads, depending on which direction you're going, and goes into a single lane with oncoming traffic. You kind of got to dodge and slowly weave.
You have to drive very slowly because there's a cliff.
And since we were on a cliff, and here's the thing, I was driving so slow, I was looking forward. I was trying to look out my side window because it was so fucking beautiful, and I couldn't. I had to look straight down the road. But once you drive it, you will know why it takes you 36 to 40 minutes to get there from Tamarack Lodge.
Also, if you've ever been to Hawaii, it's similar to the road to Hana. It's this road that everybody has to drive, but it's very windy, and you can't really go over 10 miles per hour.
Man, so we get there, and I'm just thinking, God damn, this is just, the whole time I just kept cussing and telling my wife how fucking beautiful it was.
And you kept on saying, why didn't you tell me to come here before?
Yeah, I mean, like, why didn't you really put your foot down and say, hey, no, motherfucker, you need to listen to me. You won't regret it. Because we could have been like 10-year veteran. I could be a 10-year veteran by now. So anyway, I got my blinders off. I'm taking in all the sights and sounds. And so we go to Devil's Post Pile National Monument. Here's out of the Wikipedia. It's located near Mammoth Mountain in eastern California. The National Monument protects Devil's Post Pile, an unusual rock formation of columnar basalt.
Yeah.
Devil's Post Pile National Monument encompasses 798 acres and includes two main tourist attractions, the Devil's Post Pile Formation and Rainbow Falls.
Well, an interesting thing to jump in is that they were going to blow up Devil's Post Pile. I think it was in the early 1900s for a mining operation. And that's when President Taft decided to make it a national park, I believe. Check
out the big brain on Kristen. It was created in 1911. And by President William Howard Taft. And a protected area now is a national monument. Man, basically, I'm looking at a picture of it right now. It's these rock formations that look like big-ass columns that are all glued to the side of a mountain. And then some of them are laying sideways, so you see the ends of them. And the ones that have sheared off and broken are like, they're all about 3 or 4 foot long, big ass octagonal looking rocks. Look it up in the Wikipedia and do images.
But you were pretty impressed with that.
Devil's Postpile National Monument. No, here's the thing. We got out there, and you see this big badass rock formation, all these broken rocks at the bottom. I'm like, golly, they were just going to blow that up. And what were they looking for?
They're mining.
Gold or silver? The gold rush?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's gold.
So anyway, they had enough wherewithal not to tear down this beautiful natural nature. Geological miracle. It was beautiful. I mean, when I call something beautiful, it sounds like I'm pretty tough. Toughest SOB in the history of WWF. So if I say something's beautiful, it's pretty goddamn pretty.
But the funny part was when you wanted to take a picture.
Man, there was a couple. Devil's Postpile, like I said, is about 800 acres. Well, we're looking at the main attraction there, and all these big scattered ass rocks. And sure enough, there's a goddamn couple right out there in amongst the middle of it. I'm like, fucking really? Could you just...
They were doing like a photo shoot. We just wanted to get one little picture of it.
We're kind of like, as much as we were relaxing and having fun, it was almost like Clark W. Griswold when he saw the Grand Canyon, in vacation. He goes, well, okay, and on to the next thing. You can only stare at those rocks for 5 minutes. That's pretty long.
Yeah, but it was a good hike in there.
We hiked in with the dogs. We parked at the first parking spot, and I'm thinking, God damn, I thought we were just going to drive up on this motherfucker. Maybe just look at it from the window of the Yukon. No, we had to hike in about a goddamn mile with the dogs. Son of a bitch. So we looked at it for a little bit. We took some pictures. I posted on Instagram, Steve Austin BS on Twitter and Instagram. It was really badass. And so finally the people moved. Chris and I got a couple of pictures and we hauled ass back. We're walking back to the Yukon and, the dogs are walking and I'm thinking, shit, man, I hope one of these dogs don't take a shit because I didn't bring any bags with me. And as responsible pet owners, that's just one of the things that you always do. You always have bags in case one of your dogs takes a shit. Sure enough, about halfway back to the Yukon from Devil's Postpile National Monument, Moolah pulls over to the left-hand side of the trail, and luckily no one was coming behind us or in front of us, and takes the biggest goddamn shit I have ever seen a canine take. Motherfucker.
I hope we don't get a littering ticket now.
I don't know what she ate, but here we are. I'm seeing people coming up from behind us. I'm thinking, God damn, man, ain't no way we can leave this big pile of dog shit here on the side of the goddamn trail because someone's going to step in it and we're going to be the shitheads, no pun intended, that left that motherfucker there, and we can't do that. I'm a global icon and a national treasure. My wife is too damn smart with 2 degrees to be so irresponsible. And since we forgot our damn trash bags, I was the ultimate sacrifice. I took off my Broken Skull Ranch baseball hat, scooped up the dog shit in my fucking hat, and carried it in front of me, kind of wrapped my hand around it like I was sweating, so I took my hat off, and carried the goddamn pile of dog shit in my Broken Skull Ranch hat. Now, I had to throw the hat away, mind you, but that was a sacrifice that I made, Kristen, because I was too forgetful to bring the fucking bags. So I was responsible.
Yes.
So if you're walking down Devil's Postpile on the damn, on the little trail there and you step in some dog shit, because there's a lot of dogs out there, it ain't the shit that came out of my dog's ass. I picked it up in a hat and put it in a trash can.
Maybe you should make a Broken Skull Ranch poop bags.
That hat did pretty goddamn good, but I sell those things over at ProWrestlingTees.com. So here's a cheap plug for a Broken Skull Ranch hat. If you want one, you can find them. I'm probably going to go buy one from Ryan myself.
It doubles as a poop bag.
It does. It was a hell of a damn shit bag.
Yeah.
We had a damn good time. Before we get out of here, Kristen, and I move on and answer some questions about my keto diet, we loaded up next day. It was time to go home.
Yep.
We were there for about 3 days. We hauled ass. And when we go through Long Pine?
It's Bishop.
Yeah, there's a town called Bishop on the way on 395 between Los Angeles and Mammoth. And we've been passing through there for the last 2 years, driving up back and forth to Nevada. And there's this one place. Talk about it, Kristen. What's it called?
Schatz Bakery.
Is it famous or been around forever?
Yeah, and everybody stops there.
Man, it's the biggest tourist trap attraction, on the side of the road. And me and Kristen, we always take our food with us when we're going somewhere, 9 times out of 10. Normally, I'm on a pretty strict eating regimen.
Yeah, but we never want to stop either.
Yeah, and then we see the crowd, and we're like, man, fuck it. We'll catch it next time.
We did that like 7 times.
We've been doing that for years. So finally, I intervened on this. I said, you know what? You've been wanting to stop at this place forever. I said, I don't care what the deal is. We're not in a hurry. We got on the road at a good hour. So just stop, do your thing. And she said, do you want something? I said, yeah. She called me on the phone. I was sitting out in the car with the dogs. I said, yeah, I'll take a pastrami sandwich. We'll talk about the place inside. Man, they got bread and shit everywhere.
They make homemade bread or bakery bread, and baked goods is on one section, like desserty kind of stuff, pastries, and then the other side it's all bread and it's something to see.
Man, I walked in there because I was parked in the Yukon out in the parking lot, and I was thinking, okay, now this is a stop. We're trying to relax. But I know as soon as we get out of here, if I don't take the opportunity to use the bathroom 10 miles down the road, I'm going to need to piss. So I went inside. I saw my wife in there standing in the line, had all her shit, some loaves of bread for her mom, had a sandwich or two for us, looked at all the people. Man, the way it organized in there, it's like a maze, but it's very organized.
Yeah, I was surprised because I haven't been there in years.
God damn, them motherfuckers make a lot of bread. I mean, they make a lot of bread, they sell a lot of bread, so they're making a lot of bread.
Yeah.
3 times.
But every kind of bread you can imagine. They have olive bread, chili cheese bread, rye bread, squaw bread, whatever bread you can think of, they've got it.
They do. And so, man, I went over and hit the head, came back. We got in the Yukon and started hauling ass. Well, we're taking our time. We got back down the road, and finally we got out of town, and my wife says, you ready for your sandwich yet? I said, yeah. And so she made like a little diaper with a paper towel and handed me my sandwich. Son of a bitch, I bit into that goddamn pastrami sandwich. Holy smokes, you talk about being on a ketogenic eating program can be really interesting, but I'm using lean sources of protein, so I'm eating salmon at night. I'm eating chicken all during the day and drinking protein shakes. And for my breakfast, I'm eating eggs and egg whites. And, for vegetables and peanut butter and nuts for my fats. So, your taste buds don't really get stimulated on the keto program. Man, on my little carbohydrate extravaganza, utilizing the bread wrapped around that gigantic pile of pastrami, it was the best sandwich. I swear to God, that's probably one of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life. And
then I took a bite of mine, and I got the veggie. It was unbelievable. It was outstanding. So I highly recommend Schatz Bakery.
If you're on your way to Mammoth or going back through L.A. or whatever, and you see that damn place on the side of the road,
stop.
Stop. There'll be a shit pile of people waiting to get in, but it's really organized the way they have it structured inside, and there's 2 different lines, like Kristen said, one for the bakery, one for the sandwich part. And man, it's clean. They do badass stuff. This ain't no plug. I'm just saying this is going to be really one of our stops from here on out.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're heading to Nevada here in a couple of days, and we'll make a stop through there, and I'm going to get me another sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing. Pastrami sandwich, and I'll meet the motherfucker as soon as I get it. Kristen, I'm going to stop down here and answer some ketogenic questions on my next segment of the podcast and shoot the breeze and answer some wrestling questions. If people send in the questions, SteveAustinShow.com. Do you have anything that you want to plug on the podcast at this time?
No. Can I be relieved?
You can be relieved. We're going to take our bicycle ride probably here in about an hour and a half. You going to be ready?
I'm ready.
God damn it, man. Got to get you a bicycle. I never thought you'd see my ass riding around on a bicycle here on the streets of Los Angeles, burning calories, but we're having a blast. Kristen Austin, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you down the road.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show. This is Steve Austin Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the podcast. I've just been joined by a special guest here in the 317. Give me a seat. Come here, girl. Cali, I got to come up with a nickname for her. Come here, girl. She's going to kayfabe me now. Come here. Cali over here at the studio, my prized black lab. She's 7 months old, and I tell you what, you talk about a pistol. Anyway, hey, man, just got finished telling you guys a story about my mini vacation with my wife. There's been a lot of questions sent in to questions@steveaustinshow.com about my ketogenic diet experience and my conversation with Dave Palumbo talking about numbers and diet strategies with respect to the ketogenic program. And I said, hey, man, if you guys have any questions, send them in to questions@steveaustenshow.com. And as you know, I'm not a diet guru. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a personal trainer, but I can tell you from experience what I've been through, what I've noticed, what I've read, and what I've applied to myself to get to where I'm at. And I came down, like I was telling you the other day on the podcast, at my heaviest a few years ago, 288, hung around at 275 range, 265, 60. It's about when I hooked up with Dave and dropped that final, 16, 17 pounds and got down to where I'm sitting at right now this morning was at 241.5. And that's carbohydrates every other day. So anyway, it worked for me. I'm not an expert, but you have questions and I'll answer what I know that I've been through, and I can tell you what's up from my perspective. I got a question in from Steven down there in Toronto, and it says, hey, Steve, big fan of your wrestling career, and I love the Ketogenic Podcast with Dave Palumbo. I still have the first Steve Austin shirt my dad bought for me 20 years ago, and I wear it to the gym weekly. I just wanted to ask about the keto macros you were dialed into. I lost 50 pounds on the standard ketogenic diet, but I feel I lost more muscle than I should have because of lack of protein. I'm 225 pounds, and I'm looking to be 210 as a goal. What was your protein intake on grams? I've been following 100 to 120 grams of protein, but I feel like that's too low. Stephen from Toronto. Yeah, man, Stephen, that sounds real low just from a number standpoint, but in a ketogenic or standard ketogenic ratio, doesn't sound that low. Yeah, I think you probably lost some muscle too. And that was one of my big reservations about the standard ketogenic diet. That was kind of a mind fuck for me. Eating so much fat and not eating too much protein just seemed very counterintuitive to anything that I've ever done with respect to training with weights, being an athlete, and trying to track my macros. Everything was always higher protein, at least a gram per pound, and especially if you're running a gram per pound, and then you're eating carbohydrates, your fat's going to be low. But, on the modified ketogenic diet, I think I was at about, I think I averaged it out to about 1.35 grams of protein per pound. And so at 241 currently, I believe my protein intake is right between, I think it's right at 350 grams, as a matter of fact. I was looking at what I input the other day. So right now, I'm at about 350 grams of protein every single day, and that's with 2 shakes and 4 meals. And then my fat intake is right at, I think, 120 or 130 grams. 120 grams, I think, is correct. And my net carbs are less than 25. I'm trying to eat more green vegetables right now. But dude, yeah, I think your protein's light, but props to you for losing the weight. And here's the thing. When I was talking to Dave Palumbo, I'm not shitting on the standard ketogenic diet in any way, shape, or form. I've talked to a lot of people that have had a lot of success with it, and more power to you. I think my inability to lose body fat with it had a lot to do with me jumping around with my, macros or with my caloric intake. I was all over the place before I met with Dave and got on a plan and on track. If I wasn't getting results, I'd shift things around, on a weekly basis. So it's hard to make progress if you're constantly making changes because you really don't know what works. And for me, doing what I was doing, it was like, the blind leading the blind, so to speak. I can read nutrition. I'm intelligent enough to understand that most of the stuff that I read, but I try to apply it to myself. And it just doesn't seem to make sense to me, or I give up on it, or I don't have faith in what I've, written down for myself to follow, and I don't give it enough of a chance. But yeah, man, congrats to you for losing that weight. But to me, it does sound like your protein is a little bit low. Hey, man, you might try going modified and, jacking your protein up to about, 1.35 or 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. And then, probably shoot for your fat, 100, 120 grams. Keep your carbs low. Give that a shot. There's many articles about Dave Palumbo's diet on the internet. You can kind of get a blueprint of it, or kind of get a peek at kind of a little bit how it works. But that's what I would suggest, and that's what worked for me. And as you guys know, or like I told you the other day, Stephen, now every other day I'm adding carbohydrates into my diet. If I drop a few more pounds, that's cool. If I maintain my current weight, I'm cool with that as well. I'm probably, as I sit here at 241.5 today, probably about 10% body fat. My midsection is my trouble area. That's where I hold most of my weight. My legs and my arms are very vascular. Midsection looks probably better than it ever has. Got a six-pack like Dave said on the podcast. That ain't bragging. It's not a six-pack of beer that's in the refrigerator. But that's just where I'm at as far as leanness goes. So it worked for me. Good luck in getting down to 210. I wish you all the best in the world. Hey, man, here's a comment from Rodney. He was thanking me. There was a podcast the other day when I was talking to David Clark. And I mentioned in the open that even though it's a family-friendly show, there's going to be a little bit of salt and pepper on the language because it was just organic to the conversation, and that's how David Clark and I were talking, and we were talking about his story and his book that he wrote out there, the story of ultra recovery. And so I just gave him a heads up. Hey, man, there's going to be some language in there, but there's no F-bombs, and we're trying to keep it as organic as possible. Turns out Rodney has a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, so, he wants to be very aware of what he's playing with his kids in the car, and I respect that. So, hey, yeah, Rodney, I was just trying to give you a heads up. I appreciate you sending me an email, and I don't want to get you in a bind traveling down the road with your kids, and all of a sudden we start dropping a bunch of words on the family-friendly show. I talk like I talk. I try to keep the family-friendly shows as family-friendly as I can, but that being said, y'all know how I talk. I've been doing this for a while, and try to keep it as family-friendly. So anyway, Rodney, you're welcome for the heads up. I appreciate you sending me the email, and I appreciate you listening to the show. Man, here's an interesting question. Let me trim this one up. Steve, big fan of the pod. I just listened to the KETO podcast with Dave Palumbo for a second time, and it really motivated me to make some changes. I'm working my way back from a nasty ruptured bicep, and it caused my diet to go to shit. I'm ready to get serious again. He's been wanting to try the keto diet for some time because he enjoys those type of foods, and it should be doable and maintainable for him. He's been doing a low-carb, low-cal diet for about a month with no result, and it's been very frustrating. Dude's 39 years old, 5'9", 215, 21% body fat. He carries his weight in the belly and bad, according to him. Hey, man, that's my story, too. I would like to be around 195 and 17%, or stretch it to 190 at 15%. So most days he's in the 2,000 calorie mark, but the weekends seem to kill him. I've been doing mainly 45 minutes of cardio 4 to 6 days a week and doing some full body lifting 1 to 2 days a week due to a recovering left arm. Your discussion with Dave shed some light on a few areas for me. First, like you, I enjoy my beer and whiskey, so I plan on cutting it out completely for the next month to see what happens. I know it's the main thing holding my progress back. Also, fats. What are you eating to get the fats you need? I'm struggling to find a good source of fats. Any tips? Yeah, Richard, I got a bunch of tips for you. With regards to that alcohol, man, cut it out completely. Every bit of it. I started using, a drink once a week on my cheat day after I was about 2 to 3 months in the program and had made a lot of progress. So I was super strict on that. I would give your body more time than just 4 weeks to recognize, hey, man, this guy's not, crushing my liver every single day of the week and especially on weekends. So think, train, and conduct yourself, accordingly, to lose body fat. So you've got to eliminate that alcohol, man. It's a barrier that you got to think about it like this. If you drink a bunch of alcohol, it's going to take you 1 step closer to your goal or 2 steps away from your goal. And that is the way I looked at it. Like you said in the email, you like to drink. I do too. But in a weight loss or fat loss program, you've got to totally give that stuff the Heisman stiff arm. Right now, I'm at a place 1 day a week, I drink my drinks. And that's about 2 drinks. It ain't very much. It's not like the old days. Those are my genetics. That's what I can get away with. So that's what I do. And so that's how I'm able to live my life. But you being in the fight right now to lose that weight, you got to cut that alcohol out. Like Dave said to me, let's give it 7 weeks. So I say to you, give it 8 weeks, dude, and make a commitment. And as far as the fats go, man, that's really easy. When I was doing standard keto, man, I was drinking olive oil, or doing tablespoons of it, eating cheese, avocados, and that's a very healthy source of fat is the avocado. But, man, I tell you what Dave told me in the fat sources that I use, I'm using macadamia nuts, I'm using almonds, and I'm using peanut butter. And at night, when I eat dinner, I've got my salmon. Salmon is 1 meal a day. I eat it every night of the week. I enjoy salmon. It's sustainable, and I can do it. So that's where I'm getting my fats from. I'm getting it from macadamia nuts, almonds, and my salmon, and peanut butter. And there's many other sources out there. A lot of people say, hey, man, pure butter or this, that, or whatever, or avocados. I just eat what the dude told me to eat, and I figured he knew what he was talking about, so I left it at that, and I got results. So there's many ways you can put a lot of variety into your diet. I figured if I did what this guy told me to do, stick to the task at hand, because he wrote out a blueprint, he wrote out the game plan, I follow it to a T. He knows exactly what I'm putting in my body, so whether I get results or not, would be up to what it was on the paper, and was I putting the work in the gym and doing my cardio. So I did that, and it worked for me. That is where I got my fat from. Man, here's another question. This guy's on the total other end of the spectrum. He says, hey, Steve, I've been hearing a lot about the keto diet over the past year. Is that more for cutting, or could you bulk with the keto diet also? I'm a hard gainer, and everyone has just told me to eat, and eat. I figured eating proteins and fats would be easier versus eating like 300 to 400 grams of carbs. Man, I tell you what, this comes from Ryan. And I asked Ryan, I said, dude, how tall are you and what's your body weight? He's 6'2", and he's about 165 pounds. So, Ryan, man, I'm thinking carbs, dude. I don't see keto as being necessary for you. And again, I'm not a professional coach. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a diet expert. But, man, for the hard gainer, man, I'd say carbs would be your best friend. And I wouldn't even go crazy on the protein, 1 to maybe 1.3 grams per pound of body weight, and then start loading in the carbs, 350 grams. You're probably going to need to get your total caloric intake probably, 2,700, 3,000, total calories. Don't worry about the cardio. Just kind of train, heavy or moderate. I don't know anything about your health, but if you're 6'2", you're 165, I don't think you need to even think about doing keto, dude, because it sounds like you're lean to begin with. So read a lot of articles, dude. Hard gainers diets, all that stuff out there. A lot of people tell you to drink milk. Hey, milk is great if you can tolerate it. I can. I love to drink milk, or I used to. I got to watch my weight these days. I mean, a lot of times milk is a hard gainer's best friend, mixing it with your protein shakes. For some people, lactose intolerant or whatever, give you the screaming shits. It is what it is. Some people can't stand it. Some people can't drink it. But I would say carbs would be your best friend, brother. Look into that and get back with me. I'd like to know what kind of progress you make. And here's the thing. When I was on my eating program, which I still am, you got to be consistent. So I can be dialed in, eating all my meals, every single day, and then all of a sudden, 2, 3, 4 days a week, I start fucking off and don't stay consistent. I'm not going to get any results. You have to be consistent as well on the caloric surplus side. Dude, you got to do your due diligence. You got to maintain, or you got to be on a surplus 7 days a week. So you got to do your part. Many people who are overweight, like I was as far as estimating my food, I thought I was taking in a lot more calories than I was. Or I was taking in a lot more calories than I was. Let me say that. So some people that are trying to gain weight, they don't realize how few calories they're taking in. Someone might thinking, yeah, I'm taking in 3,500 calories a day. You add it up, they might only be taking in 2,700. Dude, that ain't going to get the trick done. So weigh and measure all your stuff until you kind of get a feel for it, and then you can kind of wing it from there. But until then, I'd weigh everything and be extremely consistent, but be on the plus side. Hey, man, this comes from Joe. He says, Steve, just working my way through the Dave Palumbo show and totally digging it. Quick question about your diet. Generally, when you up your protein, you're supposed to up your water intake. With that said, what does your water intake look like? Are you drinking more than you normally would? This comes from Joe. I appreciate the email, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I hear the same things. If you're going to increase your protein, you need more water. I mean, but, like Dave said in the podcast, a lot of people tell you, well, bottom line, I drink about a gallon of water a day. I drink about 3 of those 1.5-liter bottles of water from Trader Joe's every single day. I make sure I get more water intake in. Above and beyond that, I mean, you're going to be pissing like a racehorse if you try to drink 2 gallons a day and you're trying to hold down a job. And like Dave said, it's just unnecessary. You're overwatering yourself. It ain't necessary. So, you got to do your due diligence, but you don't need to turn into, a water buffalo and just drink shit piles so you got to go to the bathroom all the time. That's a pain in the ass, and you probably ain't got time to do it. And if you're traveling or you're traveling on the road, you ain't got time to make that many pit stops. I try to drink about a gallon a day. You can type on a computer, how much water should I intake every single day? There's websites that will tell you scientifically how much water you need to drink. Dude, if you were to drink, here's just a general statement. If you were to drink 2 of these Trader Joe bottles of water, 3 liters, I mean, unless you're working in the desert sweating your ass off, I think you're in the ballpark. But if you really want to be cool and be hydrated, close to a gallon a day for a normal-sized human being, whether you're a man or a woman. Hey, Steve, I got a couple of keto questions. Are you snacking at all during the day between your meals? Nuts, etc.? Are you consuming any dairy? Big fan. This comes from Jason. I got an answer for you, Jason. I am not snacking all day between the meals because I'll tell you what, man, I'm eating so much protein, I'm pretty full. And because when you're not eating carbs, you just don't really get hungry. And I'm taking in plenty of calories, trust me. I don't really snack. I eat the meals that I got to eat and put in the calories I got to put in. And the nuts that I'm using, the macadamia nuts, the almonds, and the peanut butter, those are part of the meals that I'm eating. So, no, dude, I ain't snacking all through the day. I'm eating 6 meals, and I'm happy eating 6 meals and don't really care to eat anymore. If I was hungry and I grabbed, just a couple of almonds or a couple of macadamias, I could, and I could get away with it, but I don't. So to answer your question, I ain't snacking all day. I'm just eating my meals and sticking to the plan that was laid out for me. Another question, this one comes from Dusty. He said, hey, Steve, I love the podcast. I'm curious to know how much caffeine would you recommend on a keto diet? I've heard it was okay, and I've heard to stay away from it. Are low-cal soft drinks and energy drinks okay? See, that's a good question, because when you're doing a ketogenic diet, a lot of people say, or a lot of people write, that coffee or caffeine will kick you out of ketosis. Also, if you take in too much sugar or too many sweeteners in the form of Splenda, stuff like that, it will kick you out of ketosis. Here's what I found. I'm a coffee fanatic. I drink 2 big-ass cups every single morning, and I drink a big-ass cup about 3 p.m., 4 p.m. every day before my p.m. workout. Caffeine has not kicked me out of ketosis or whatever one bit. With regards to sweeteners, I do not use sugar, ever. I don't eat any sugar, ever. I avoid it, unless I raid the cabinet at nighttime, the 2 times I did on the diet. Like I told Dave the other day, I'll get into some peanut butter or whatever. Other than that, I don't eat sugar. So I do use stevia. That's what Dave recommended, so I do use stevia. I still drink a diet Red Bull or 2 every single day. That doesn't seem to affect me, so caffeine doesn't bother me. I got to have it because I got to function. That's a part of my wake-up process. I drink it. I stick to stevia as far as my additives, and I'm only using probably a total of 4 bags a day, those little pouches, so I'm not going crazy. And I normally drink either 1 Red Bull, the small 6.2 ounce, or 2 Red Bulls a day, and that's the extent of it. So I haven't noticed anything that affects my ketosis or my ability to burn fat. And like I said, I'm probably running about 10% right now at 241.5. So it works for me and it hasn't kicked me out. Everything may be different for you. I don't know. Man, here's a question coming from John. He says, hey, Steve, I'm a super mark. Love all the wrestling talk, but holy cow, today's episode was probably my favorite you've done with Dave Palumbo. I'm currently watching what I'm eating. I'm doing the paleo diet. I started CrossFit 6 months ago, and I'm thinking about switching to the keto diet. Did Dave figure out this based on the speed of your metabolism? If so, how fast is your metabolism, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry if it's a super personal question. I appreciate you and your podcast. I've been a listener since day one. John. No, man, that ain't a personal question because I really don't know anything about my metabolism. I would consider my metabolism to be quite slow, or at least I thought it was. Dave's kind of got it spun up right now with throwing the carbs back in there, so it's been an interesting ride. I don't feel any different. There's no energy charge. There's no energy drain. I've been burning fat. I think my metabolism is quote unquote or normal. So, and again, for a long time, dude, I think maybe it was the carbohydrate intake. I just figured, dude, you got a slow metabolism. You're never going to lose any weight. With respect to going keto after starting CrossFit, man, if you've been doing CrossFit for 6 months, I hang around CrossFit athletes all the time at the Broken Skull Challenge, and I don't know too many of the athletes that have come out there that are on keto diets. Many of them are on paleo diets, and many of them are on even high-carb diets. Most of the people that come out to Broken Skull Challenge are pretty genetically blessed. They're really good athletes. That was a great thing that Dave brought up on the podcast the other day. He says, man, if you're looking at bodybuilders and you're looking at people that are, high level, physique or are athletes that are in the elite level, man, those people are just blessed and fortunate to just have great genetics, great structure, and they're going to be different than maybe I would be or you would be. They can do almost any lift, eat almost any kind of macronutrient ratio, get away with it, look like $1 million, get strong as a house, and function phenomenal. Now, people like me, man, I really have to watch what I eat. With you going into CrossFit, man, with so much activity there, and paleo being on the lower side of carbohydrates, I don't see, unless you're really, really heavy, why keto would be a good option for you. Again, the modified ketogenic diet worked for me with respect to fat loss, but I will say that on this eating program, I have lost strength because I don't really have any glycogen reserves in my muscles. So I'm dare say a little flat in that respect. I don't get as great pumps as I used to being on a high carb diet. That's the trade-off. You're going to get a trade-off in any diet that you get on. And with as much activity with the WODs and the CrossFit stuff and the workouts that you're doing, depending on your body composition, that would be, a decision that you would have to make, like you were telling me. If you would have told me, hey, man, I'm 6'3", I'm 150, but now I want to switch to keto, I'd say, man, Doug, you don't need to switch to keto. You need to stick to what you're doing or add carbs. So, yeah, man, regular metabolism for me and for you, I would say, man, I don't think you need to switch to keto unless you have a issue with carrying too much weight on your body. All right, just a couple more keto questions, and we'll get into one wrestling questions. Hey, man, this comes from Ken. He says, Steve, thanks. The podcast with Dave Palumbo was awesome. I'm wondering what type of peanut butter you put in your shakes. Man, that's a good question because there's 1 million of them out there. They're all, to me, they're almost all the same. I use 100% real peanut butter. I don't never use the reduced fat ones. That's besides the point, and it kind of defeats the purpose. You're getting the peanut butter for the fats. I always go organic, whether it's Skippy, Jif. There's one brand over here at this store that I shop at. It's an organic one that's kind of got that oily stuff on top of it. I'll stir that stuff around. So, man, dude, almost any brand. They're almost all the same, but I kind of tend to go organic just so I guess I'm ensuring I don't get a bunch of bullshit in my peanut butter. But, dude, if all you got is straight up Jif or Skippy, then go straight up Jif or Skippy. It ain't going to hurt you none. It's going to be damn near all about the same. And my final keto diet question was from Kevin, and he says, Steve, what is your current daily calorie intake? Kevin from Cork, Ireland. Man, I'll tell you, I think I'm in the ballpark anywhere from 2750 to 2950 every single day If I had to just say one number, I'd say right at 2,800 calories. Right at 2,800. Depends on whether I have my carbs in there or not. And that's when I'm adding carbs every other day. That's an additional 112 grams, so it's 400 calories. So I'm always, give or take, right at 2,800, and I'm full of energy, I feel good, and I'm able to function good. So that is the answer to that question. But again, don't worry about what I'm eating, dude. I'm 6'1.5", I'm 242, coming down from 275, 65, 260. So my metabolism might be slower or faster than yours. If you're taller than me or shorter than me and lighter than me, you know, our caloric numbers, what I found out through my research, looking at damn near every single calorie calculator on the damn internet, is you can use those things to put you in the ballpark, but you really have to figure out what works for you. And Dave Palumbo was able to help me get dialed in with what works for me and through what he's seen in the past. So good luck to you. And you didn't tell me how tall you were or how heavy you were, so it's really there's really no comparison. You have to figure out what works for you. I appreciate you sending that question. Appreciate everybody that sent in the questions to questions@steveaustonshow.com. I've got Raven coming by tomorrow in the 317 Gimmick Street. I got a couple other guys lined up on a podcast coming down to 317 Gimmick Street. For some of you people, talking and listening about the ketogenic diet might have been boring to some of you people, a lot of you people that sent in the emails, and I've got a shit pile more than what I read. I was just trying to slim them down. Many of the emails were the same question. So the ketogenic diet has worked wonders for me, but any eating program, if you apply it and you maintain consistency, can work for you. It's not a magic bullet. There's going to be trade-offs. There's going to be some pros and cons to any kind of program. So you just got to stick to what works, and you know you got to be consistent. You got to eliminate alcohol. You got to get your meals in. You got to get your workouts in, and that's the bottom line.
This has been a PodcastOne production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
This summer, it's time to get your giggle on. Pluto TV's Summer of Cinema is going to make you LOL with hundreds of free movies all summer long. Get a good chuckle or a deep belly laugh streaming Good Burger, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. From old school to think like a man, this summer you can chortle, howl, or snort your way through your favorite comedies for free. Download the Pluto TV app now. It's every couch potato stream. Summer of Cinema on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Yeah.
What's good?
I'm Brian Greenberg.
I'm Victor Rasuk.
Check out our new podcast, We Almost Made It.
You guys might remember us from HBO's How to Make It in America. And guess what? We're going to have actors, athletes, fashion designers, comedians, friends.
We're going to talk hustle, grind, anyone who had a dream and people thought they were crazy, but they chased it anyway. We want to talk about it. We also want to hear from you.
So go follow, rate, and review We Almost Made It at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Go ahead and do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Big Brother Jake, a.k.a. Jake Warner. My government name. Check it out. I host a show called the Big Brother Jake Podcast, and I've taken my talents to the biggest and baddest platform on the planet. That's right, baby. PodcastOne. My show is unique as I talk about everything. Life, sports, entertainment, being a single dad juggling several jobs. I'm a hot mess, but it's damn entertaining. Subscribe and review now on Apple Podcasts and listen on PodcastOne or wherever you get your podcasts.